Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Rama Jayam Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye. Namaskar and welcome back to Amara Bharati Samskrita YouTube channel, where we are studying the Manika class 9 Sanskrit textbook. In that we now look at the last lesson, the Ekadasha Pathaha Bharatenasti me Jivanam Jivanam. The meaning of the title is My life is worth living indeed because of Bharata Desha. Bharatenasti me Jivanam Jivanam. We now look at the lesson along with an explanation in the English language. Now let us look at the meaning of this title, Bharatenasti me Jivanam Jivanam. So when we split it, we get Bharatena Asti. Me means Mama, Jivanam Jivanam. Mama Jivanam Jivanam means my life, my living. Mama Jivanam Jivanam, my life is indeed worth living. Bharatena Asti is present because of Bharata. So my life, my living, my very existence is because of Bharata Mata, my country, my nation, India. So we can say that the title is My life is worth living indeed because of Bharata alone. Now there is a kind of a puzzle given at the beginning of this lesson, where we have to find out some words. They have given a word called Ganga here, which we have encircled here, and we have to find out all the other words in this particular puzzle. And for that there is an initial starting conversation. Acharya Chhatraha, teacher says, O students, Ekam Prahelikam Prichhami, I will ask you a riddle or a puzzle. Chhatraha, students say, Aho Prahelika, riddle, we want to solve it. Prichhatu Bhavan, please ask. Vayam Sannadhaha, we are ready to solve it. Acharya, teacher says, Adholikitat Varna Jalat. So from the letter arrangement given below, the arrangement of alphabets which is given below, which we saw earlier, this is the arrangement of alphabets. So what you have to find out? Nadinam Parvatanam Namani Chinuta. Choose the names of rivers and mountains. Now Chhatraha, students say, Purna Rupena Najñayate. We don't know in full form, we cannot solve in full. Acharya says, teacher says, Pathe Tattan Shlokan Pathata. Read the shlokas in this particular lesson. Tataha etam pureta. Then complete this particular riddle, puzzle. Ravi says, Acharya Vara, O respected teacher, Etani padyani tu maya dura darshanataha shrutani. I have heard these poems through Doordarshan. By me, these poems have already been heard through Doordarshan. Apicha chitrani api drishtani. And also I have seen the corresponding pictures. Acharya says, teacher says, Sadhu Uktam, well said. Etani padyani bhati me bharatam. Iti Gitika Vyat Sangrihitani. These poems are collected from the song poem Bhati me Bharatam. Means my Bharata, country, shines. That is the meaning of this particular statement, Bhati me Bharatam. Chhatraha Tarhi Gayamaha Vayam Etani Padyani. Then let us sing these poems. Let us all sing these poems, is what the students are telling. Now we go to the lesson proper. The first poem. Vindhya Sahyadriniladrimalanvitam Shubrahaimadrihasa Prabhapuritam Arbudaravali Shreni Sampujitam Bhutale Bhati me Naratam Bharatam. Vindhya Sahyadriniladrimalanvitam Shubhrahaimadrihasa Prabhapuritam अर्बुदारावली श्रेणी संपूजितं भूतले भाति मे नारतं भारतं. The pada vibhaga split of the words is Vindhya. This whole thing is one word. So, but it has several constituents which we see. Vindhya, Sahya, Adri, Neela, Adri, Mala, Anvitam, Shubhra, Haima, Adri, Hasa, Prabha, Puritam, Arbuda, Aravali, Shreni, Sampujitam, Bhutale, Bhatime, Anaratam, Bharatam. Anvaya, the prose order, Gadya Krama is Vindhya, Sahyadri, Niladri, Malanvitam, Shubhra, Haimadri, Hasa, Prabha, Puritam, Arbudaravali, Shreni, Sampujitam, Me, Bharatam, Bhutale, Anaratam, Bhati. What is the Pratipadartha? We will see now. Vindhya, Sahyadri, Niladri, Malanvitam means enriched with the ranges of the Vindhya mountains, Sahyadri mountains and Nila mountains, Nilagiri mountains. Shubhra, Haimadri, Hasa, Prabha, Puritam, brightened by the white smile of the Himalayas. Arbudaravali, Shreni, Sampujitam, worshipped by the Abu and Aravali ranges. Bhutale, on the earth. Bhati, shines or glows. Me is my, mama, as I told you. Anaratam, always. Bharatam is Bharatamata. So the meaning is, my Bharatamata, my India, country India, which is enriched with the ranges of the Vindhyachala, Sahyadri and Nilagiri mountains, brightened by the white smile of the Himalayas, and worshipped by the Abu and Aravali mountain ranges. Bhutale Bhati Me Naratam Bharatam, always shines on this earth. So this shloka is telling about the mountains, some of the mountains of our country, Bharata, Bharatamata. Next one. Janhavi Chandrabhaga Jalaif Pavitam Bhanuja Narmada Vichibhirlalitam Tungabhadra Vipashadibhirbhavitam Bhutale Bhati Me Naratam Bharatam. Janhavi Chandrabhaga Jalaif Pavitam Bhanuja Narmada Vichibhirlalitam Tungabhadra Vipashadibhirbhavitam Bhutale Bhati Me Naratam Bharatam. Pada Vibhaga is Jahnavi. Some people tell it as Janhavi and some others tell us Jahnavi. Janhavi Chandrabhaga Jalaihi Pavitam Bhanuja Narmada Vichibhihi Lalitam Tungabhadra Vipasha Adibhihi Bhavitam Bhutale Bhatime Anaratam Bharatam. Anvaya is Jahnavi Chandrabhaga Jalaihi Pavitam Bhanuja Narmada Vichibhihi Lalitam Tungabhadra Vipasha Adibhihi Bhavitam Me Bharatam Bhutale Anaratam Bhati. We look at the Pratipadarthas. Jahnavi Chandrabhaga Jalaihi, by the waters of the Ganga and the Jahnavi is Ganga and Chandrabhaga rivers. Pavitam, made sacred, made holy. Bhanuja Narmada Vichibhi, by the waves of the Yamuna and Narmada rivers. Lalitam, adorned. Tungabhadra Vipasha Adibhihi, by the Tungabhadra Vipasha and other such rivers. Bhavitam, echoed. Me Bharatam Bhutale Anaratam Bhati, my Bharata shines ceaselessly, always on this earth. Overall meaning is, my Bharata, my country, India, Bharata Mata, which is made sacred by the waters of the Ganga and the Chandrabhaga. Chandrabhaga is nothing but the Chenab river, which is adorned by the ripples of the Yamuna and Narmada rivers, which is nurtured by the Tungabhadra Vipasha, which is Bias and other such rivers, always shines on this earth. So this shloka is telling about some of the rivers of our country, Bharatamata, India. Next one. Vedabhasitam satkala lalitam ramya sangita sahitya sauhitya bhuhu bharati vallaki jhankritir jhankritam bhutale bhati me naratam bharatam. Vedabhasitam satkala lalitam Ramya Sangita Sahitya Sauhitya Bhuhu Bharati Vallaki Jhankritair Jhankritam Bhutale Bhati Me Naratam Bharatam. Padavibhaga is like this. Veda Bha Bhasitam Satkala Lasitam Lalitam Ramya Sangita Sahitya Sauhitya Bhuho Bharati Vallaki Jhankritaihi Jhankritam Bhutale Bhati Me Anaratam Bharatam. Anvaya Gadyakrama is Vedabha Bhasitam Satkala Lalitam Ramya Sangita Sahitya Sauhitya Bhuho Bharati Vallaki Jhankritaihi Jhankritam Bhutale Bhati Me Bharatam Me Bharatam Bhutale Anaratam Bhati. Overall Pratipadartha is like this. Vedabha Bhasitam means resplendent with the glory of the Vedas. Satkala Lalitam adorned with the fine arts. Ramya Sangita Sahitya Sauhitya Bhuhu. It is the right place for the nurturing of charming music and literature. Sangita is music and Sahitya is literature. Bharati Vallaki Jhankritahi with the jingles of the Veena of goddess Saraswati. Jhankritam resounding. Me Bharatam Bhutale Anaratam Bhati. My Bharata shines ceaselessly on this earth. Overall meaning is my Bharata India, which is resplendent with the glory of the Vedas, which is adorned with the fine arts, which is the meeting ground for nurturing of charming music and literature, resounding with the jingles of Saraswati. Goddess Saraswati's Veena always shines on this earth. This is telling about the literary splendor, arts and crafts, fine arts of India. Vedas, literature, music, and Saraswati's Veena, and so on, fine arts. Next one. Vishwabandhutvamudghoshayat pavanam Vishwavandyaischaritrair jagat pavayat Vishwamekam kutumbam samalokayat Bhutale bhati me naratam bharatam Vishwabandhutvamudghoshayat pavanam Vishwavandyaischaritrair jagat pavayat Vishwamekam kutumbam samalokayat Bhutale bhati me naratam bharatam. Padavibhaga is like this. Vishwabandhutvam udghoshayat pavanam Vishwavandyaihi charitraihi jagat pavayat Vishwam ekam kutumbam samalokayat Bhutale bhati me anaratam bharatam. Anvaya Gadyakrama prose order is Pavanam Vishwabandhutvam udghoshayat Vishwavandyaihi charitraihi jagat pavayat Vishwam ekam kutumbam samalokayat me bharatam bhutale anaratam bhati. We'll look at the Pratipadartha. Vishwabandhutvam means feeling of universal brotherhood. Udghoshayat, loudly proclaiming. Pavanam, pure. Vishwavandyahi charitrihi, with a history of great, universally respected, venerable people. Jagat pavayat, sanctifying the whole world. Vishwamekam kutumbam, the world as a family. Samalokayat, beholding. Me bharatam bhutale anaratam bhati. My Bharata shines ceaselessly on this earth. The overall meaning is My Bharata Desha, India, Bharata Mata, which loudly proclaims the noble motto of pure universal brotherhood, which is always sanctifying the world with the history of its great people who are universally respected and venerable, and which beholds the entire world as one family ever glows on this earth. This shloka is telling about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world itself is my family. Next one, the fifth one. Veshabhushashanopasana paddhati kridanamoda samskara vrityadishu yadhi bhinnam sadapyastya bhinnam sada bhutale bhati tanmamakam bharatam. Veshabhushashanopasana paddhati kridanamoda samskara vrityadishu yadhi bhinnam sadapyastya bhinnam sada bhutale bhati tanmamakam bharatam. Pada vibhaga is like this. Vesha, bhusha, ashana, upasana, paddhati, क्रीडना आमोद संस्कार वृत्ति आदिषु यत् हि भिन्नं सत् अपि अस्ति अभिन्नं सदा भूतले भाति तत् मामकं भारतम्. अन्वय प्रोस ऑर्डर इज वेशभूषासन उपासना पद्धति क्रीडनामोद संस्कार वृत्त्यादिषु यत् हि भिन्नं सदपि सदा अभिन्नम् अस्ति तत् Mamakam Bharatam Bhutale Bhati. Look at the Pratipadartha. This whole thing, let us split it and see. Veshabhusha is in terms of dressing or apparel. Ashana is eating habits, food habits. Upasana Padati is modes of worship. Kridana is sport. Amoda is recreational activities. Samskara Vritti means socio-religious ceremonies and occupations. So this whole thing means in terms of all of these things. Veshabhushasanopasana paddhati kridanamoda samskara vrityadishu. This whole thing is just one word. Yat hi bhinnam sadapi. Even though all of these things are different, sada abhinnamasti is always undivided, united as a nation. See, if you travel 50 kilometers in any direction, wherever you are, if you travel 50 kilometers in the direction of east, west, north, south, or any of the diagonal directions, you will find differences in dressing habits, eating habits, modes of worship, sports, etc. Everything gets just changed within 50 kilometer distances. Even then, we are all one as a country, as a nation, as Bharata Mata, we are all one. That's what this poem is telling. So, Tad Mamakam Bharatam Bhutale Bhati, that my Bharata shines in this earth. So the meaning is my Bharata India, which is having diverse forms of apparel, eating habits, food habits, meals, modes of worship, sports, recreational habits, socio-religious ceremonies and occupations, is indeed united as a nation, is indeed one nation. Bharata Mata always shines on this earth. So this is telling about unity in diversity. Next one. Arthakamanvitam dharma mokshanvitam bhakti bhavanvitam jnana karmanvitam naikamargaif prabhum chaikamaradhayat bhutale bhati me naratam bharatam. Arthakamanvitam dharma mokshanvitam bhakti bhavanvitam jnana karmanvitam naikamargaif prabhum chaikamaradhayat bhutale bhati me naratam bharatam. Padavibhaga is Arthakamanvitam dharma mokshanvitam bhakti bhavanvitam jnana karmanvitam na eka margaihi prabhum cha ekam aradhayat bhutale bhati me anaratam bharatam. Anvaya, plus order is Arthakamanvitam dharma mokshanvitam bhakti bhavanvitam ज्ञानकर्मान्वितं नैकमार्गैः च एकं प्रभुम् आराधयेत् मे भारतं भूतले अनार्तं भाति. Pratipadartha is like this. Artha kamanvitam, invested with the artha, wealth, and kama, desire. Dharma mokshanvitam, endowed with the dharma. Right? Dharma is approximately termed as righteousness. We'll see dharma in a little while. And moksha, liberation. Bhakti bhavanvitam, full of the feelings of bhakti, devotion, raga bhakti. Jnana karmanvitam, endowed with the jnana, knowledge, and karma, action. Naika margaihi, not just one path. Ekam prabhum aradhayat, worshipping that one God. Me bharatam bhutale anaratam bhati. My Bharata shines ceaselessly on this earth. The meaning is, we'll see the meaning later. This is telling about the different modes of worship. This talks about one God, means Ekam Prabhum. So in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad there is a shloka like this. Eko devas sarvabhuteshu gudhaha sarvavyapi sarvabhutantaratma karmadhyakshaha sarvabhutadhivasaha sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. It tells about one Almighty God. Even though we have several forms of gods in our country, all of them ekam sat vipraha bahudha vadanti is what is told. So when we look at for example, there's a mountain very close to Bangalore, where if you see from 4 different directions, you see it in 4 different shapes. But then it's all one mountain only. Like that, when we look at from one point it is Rama, from one other point it is Krishna, from another point it is Shiva or Kali, and so on. All of them represent only one divinity. That's one Almighty. Eko Devaha Sarvabhuteshu Gudaha. He is Antaryami. He is embedded inside every one of us. Every one of us has Bhagavanta sitting inside us. Sarvavyapi, he is all encompassing, means omnipresent. Sarvabhutantaratma, which means he is the Antaratma, he is the inner self of each of us. Karmadhyaksha, he is the person who is the karma, karma is in his control. Karma follows his niyamana, his control, his karma, he is the controller of all karma. Sarvabhutadhivasaha, Sakshi, he is the eternal witness. Cheta, he is the consciousness. Kevala nirgunascha. That's what is the meaning of this particular shloka. We look at the meaning of this poem right now. We now look at the overall meaning here. My Bharata, which is endowed with the 4 purusharthas, which are dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma roughly is righteousness, as I told you. Artha is wealth, kama is desire, and moksha is liberation. And also endowed with different paths to attain that one Almighty Lord. These paths are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and so on. Always shines on this earth. Let us look at little more explanation of these terms here. The word dharma, as I told you, is not just righteousness. Dharma is a very encompassing word in our shastras, in our scriptures, and there is no equivalent for dharma, the word dharma, in English language and many other languages of the world. So one small introduction to dharma is like this. Dhriti kshama damo asteyam shaucham indriya nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodha dashakam dharma lakshanam. These are the 10 aspects of dharma. What are they? Dhriti is courage. Kshama is forgiveness. Dama is control of the mind. Asteyam is non-stealing. Shaucham is purity, cleanliness in terms of body and also mind, pure thoughts also. Next, Indriya Nigraha is control of the sense organs. Dhi is intellect, means viveka, power to differentiate between right and wrong. Power to differentiate right and wrong. Satyam is truth and akrodha is anger. These are the 10 aspects of dharma. Then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, what are they? These are all told in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you have in your house the elders, if you have the Bhagavad Gita book, you can ask them to explain what are these. They'll take a long time to explain for me, but you just know the names: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga are all described in the Bhagavad Gita. Next, 7th Shloka. Shoshito natra kaschid bhavet kenachit vyadhina pidito no bhavet kaschana natra kopi vrajet dinatam hinatam modatam rajatam pavanam bharatam. Shoshito natra kaschid bhavet kenachit vyadhina pidito no bhavet kaschana natra kopi vrajet dinatam hinatam modatam rajatam pavanam bharatam. Padavibhaga is Shoshitaha na atra kaschit bhavet kenachit vyadhina piditaha na bhavet kaschana na atra kaha api vrajet dinatam hinatam modatam rajatam pavanam bharatam. Anvaya is atra kenachit kaschit shoshitaha na bhavet kaschana vyadhina piditaha na bhavet अत्र काः अपि दीनतां हीनतां च न व्रजेत पावनं भारतं भूतले मोदतां राजताम्. The Pratipadarthas are like this. Shoshitaha is exploited. Na kaschid bhavet, not anyone will be. Atra here. Kenachit, by anyone. Vyadhina piditaha, tormented by disease. Na kaschana bhavet, not anyone will be. Na atra kaha api, here not anyone. Vrajet, will get. Dinatam, weakness. Hinatam, deficiency, inferiority. Modatam, may be enjoyable. Rajatam, may shine. Pavanam bharatam, pious, pure Bharata. Overall meaning is, may nobody be exploited by anyone else here. May nobody suffer diseases here. May nobody be humiliated here. May nobody feel inferior here. May my pious Bharata be happy and enjoyable. This is telling about, may there be happiness everywhere. May there not be any torment, disease, exploitation, etc., humiliation, etc. Now the last one, 8th one. Bharatam vartate me param sambalam bharatam nityameva smarami priyam bharate nasti me jivanam jivanam bharatayarpitam mekhilam cheshtitam. Bharatam vartate me param sambalam bharatam nityameva smarami priyam bharate nasti me jivanam jivanam bharatayarpitam mekhilam cheshtitam. Padavibhaga is Bharatam vartate me param sambalam bharatam nityam eva smarami priyam bharatena asti me jivanam jivanam bharataya arpitam me akhilam cheshtitam. Anvaya is Bharatam me param sambalam vartate aham priyam bharatam nityameva smarami bharatena me jivanam jivanam asti me akhilam cheshtitam bharataya eva arpitam asti. So Pratipadartha is like this. Bharatam vartate, Bharata is me param sambalam, my ultimate refuge. Priyam Bharatam, my dear Bharata, nityameva smarami, I remember every day, every moment. Bharatena me, by Bharata, my jivanam jivanam asti, my living is indeed a life, a living. May akhilam cheshtitam, all my activities, Bharata eva, only for Bharata, arpitam asti, are dedicated. So meaning is, Bharata is my ultimate refuge, my ultimate resort. I remember my dear Bharata every day. In fact, every moment. My life is worth calling a life because of Bharata alone. Bharata Desha. All my activities are dedicated only to Bharata Mata, Bharata Desha. This is telling about Bharata is my ultimate refuge. Everything, ultimate resort is Bharata for me. Now, a little bit about the author of this book we'll just see. This book is nothing but Bhati me Bharatam means my Bharata Mata shines or glows. And this is written by Dr. Ramakant Shukla, whose photo I have shown here, who was there from 1940 to 1922 on this earth. And we have seen only 8 shlokas in this particular book. This book has totally 108 shlokas on Bharata Mata. And you can download this book from archive. You can search for this Bhati Mein Bharatam text and you can download this book. And then I'll show you some 3 pages from this book which are very interesting. It's telling about all the festivals here. Shloka 32 tells about Holika, Dasahara, Sharad Purnima, Pongal, Raksha Bandhan and so on. And this is telling about all the dances, Odissi, Manipuri, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi and so on. And this is telling about my state Karnataka. Gommateshanubhava prabha puritam yasya Karnatakam chandana moditam. Karnataka, whose Karnataka encompassed with the grandeur of the colossal idol of Gommateshwara in Shravanabeлагola and is fragrant with a sandal paste. It's also talking about Rajasthan state. So these 108 poems are really beautiful, wonderful to study. So you can download this book and go through some of the poems in this book. Now we have to come to the end of this lesson, but I want to show you the solution to this particular puzzle. First one is Arbudaha, that came in the poem in the lesson. Then Chandrabhaga is the river. Then we have Yamuna is the river. Then Vindhya mountain. Then Niladri. Then we have Sahyadri in the reverse direction. Next we have Aravalihi here. Then we have Haimadrihi here. If you find some more, then let me know in the comments. This brings me to the end of this particular lesson. Bharatenasti me Jivanam. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video with the exercise part of this particular lesson. YouTube Amara Bharati Samskrita Shubham Bhoyat Mangalamastu Vande Mataram Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.